Reggie Robinson, born in Charlotte, North Carolina. And this began for me probably around 12:30 on, I believe it was a Thursday. And I went into work that morning, and 12:30 was told that I no longer had a job. Immediately, as soon as that happened, I thought about what could I do. I had a wife who was no longer working at the time. We just had our first daughter, who was at the time probably about 16 months, if not close to 2 years old. And what does a man do when you don't have anything left? You don't have no money, no resources, and you gotta decide what you gotta do for your family. So I just remember just being in that place, getting in the car, driving, didn't know where to go. I had recently joined a church here in Charlotte, and first place I went to was a church. And I remember just getting in there into the sanctuary and just crying, not knowing what to do, what to say to my family, where was anything gonna come from. I didn't have no answers. All I just could just think about is, what am I gonna tell my wife? How am I gonna handle being able to take care of family without anything? And immediately I just went to the altar crying, asking God for help, some assistance. I didn't know where I was gonna turn to or what I could do. And I just remember just staying there for probably about an hour, 2 hours, and then going home to my wife, trying to figure out how I'm gonna walk in the door and not knowing if we're gonna have the same place the next day. And just through that time period, when walking in, talking to her, the best thing I can say about my wife is she's more supportive to me than I've been in myself sometimes. So being able to just have somebody I can talk to and tell her that I don't have nothing. I lost everything that I put my hope into. Just got out of college recently, probably 2 years prior to that. Didn't know what we was gonna do. I thought things were great, but I still wasn't serving my purpose. Although I had a job, I really didn't serve my purpose. And I think this position put me in a place where I had to go through something to get to where God wanted me to be. So during that time period, didn't have money to pay for bills. Would try to find resources for family members, couldn't get money from resources for family members. I just remember one time just crying out to everybody in my Sunday school class, the church I just joined, and they raised an offering to help us pay some bills for our family. And then it ended me here at Christ Assistance Ministry. I just remember one morning, me and my wife thinking about how we were going to pay some bills. We had just lost the place and it was padlocked, and the only resource we knew in Charlotte was Christ Assistance Ministry. And so we got here, I think the doors opened probably around 8 o'clock. We got here probably 4 or 5 o'clock, sat in our car, posted up, just thinking about everything that had to be paid, and just seeing lines of people in Charlotte just needing assistance and help. I think that kind of helped me out a little bit, knowing that I wasn't the only one that was going through what I was going through at the time. So it was a hard battle, trying to figure out what I was going to do, standing in lines, asking for resources, asking for help, and what I was going to turn to. And through the whole journey, the key thing that I realized was that although I didn't have anything, that God still had a plan for me. And one of the things that I went through was we lost our place. Eventually we still lost our place. Found ourselves in a position where we thought about where we was going to go. End up having to move in with family members for a while, for 2 years without a job, for 2 years. Looking everywhere trying to find a job. Even put in applications places. Put an application into place that I work now, and was turned down for the job. They told me I didn't have the experience. Although I had a college degree, I had no experience. And being that I didn't have experience, I didn't know where I was going to turn to. Luckily got a call from someone who was a principal at a school, and he offered me a job as a family advocate to provide some services to families. And the biggest thing that I thought about was, how can I provide something that I don't even have? I didn't have a place to stay. We didn't have, all we had was family members to rely on, which my mother and father, who actually let us move in with them. So I didn't really know what to say to parents, but I found myself helping parents in the same position I was in. They didn't have resources, but because I was here at Crisis Assistance Ministry, I knew what to turn them to. Because I didn't have food at times, I knew what food banks to take them to. So all the resources, I actually went through what I'm able to do now with the families that I'm in. And basically those, through 2 years, 3 years at the same place as family advocate, the place where I was turned down for a job hired me for a job. And now I work for a company called Communities and Schools, where we're able to provide resources for families and students, families that are in need. So I'm able to rely and work with Crisis Assistance Ministry now, a place where I had to go, and now I'm able to work with them and be able to provide service for my family. So not only do I able to talk to my families, I'm able to talk to them one-on-one about how important it is to just not give up. Because if I would have gave up, I don't know where I would be right now. And just telling them that you have somebody you can rely on. I had them to rely on, and now they had me to rely on. So my kids from the school, knowing there are times when they come to me and they're like, Mr. Robinson, I don't know what I'm gonna do. We don't have no food to eat at home. Only time I eat is at school. From parents who come to me and they're like, I want to give my family something, but I don't have nothing to give them. I'm able to give them help from a heart that I already been through. So sometimes it's hard to just talk about it, because when you put yourself back in that position, you see how important it is to give to somebody. We stood in, me and my wife just standing here with her with the baby, and we just standing on these lines waiting to get in. So people just get assistance to get in, me and my wife and my daughter, and then people waiting in cars to get in, waiting to hear them let you get in. You had numbers and everything, and just reminded us just like this, being in this place, and then waiting to get in to get a chance to get help and assistance. All right, I take my students to the clothes closet here, and we assist here. And one reason why I do it with my students is it's a way for them to give back, but also it brings back memories of me in need, and I'm able to give back to a place that gave me something when I needed help and I needed assistance. I had someone where I had to give back, and I feel like you never want to forget where you came from, because if you ever forget where you come from, you really can never be successful. Those memories, things like that, force you to want to do better for yourself and try to stay where you want to be in life.